Welcome to Match Fishing Masterclass. You join me today at Moorlands Farm for a live match. We've drew on Meadow Peg 35, which is right down the other side of the lake. And luckily we've got plenty of room because this end of the lake is pretty much my nemesis. Wherever in the country, if I got asked what's your nemesis, it'd probably be this end of this lake. It's quite an old lake, but it's actually very old, and I don't know why, but the fish tend to like it at the other end of the lake. However, what we've got today is just a pipe down our right hand side, and when you've had some rain, some water can come in from the stream and the fish can come down here. We've not had any rain lately, however there's a bit of water coming in, so I'm hoping there's a few fish down here. Whilst I was setting up, I've seen a few fish cruising about because it's quite a nice day today. And yeah, my rigs, because I know what it's going to be like, it's going to be pretty tough. My rigs are pretty much to simulate that. So I don't know if you've heard of it, but take your brain out kind of fishing. I've literally set up nothing. I've set up a few rigs to cover two lines. The first one is my long line. I've just got about 4 foot of water here, and I've set up a 0.4 carbon slimline float, and this is just to fish pellets, hard pellets that is, on the hook. I'm just going to tap some pellets here and just be really patient. However, I've got the chance to turn that into a shallow line, so I've just got a shallow rig set up for that same line, and I can use that as a mugging rig as well. And then we've just got pretty much the same rig but a 0.3, and that's just for short. I'm going to fish corn short. Again, just being dead patient, and hopefully we have a few. I'm not going to ramble on too much about that because things might change, but the baits, we've literally got some hard 6mm pellets. I've got about 1.5 pints of micros. However, I don't really want to use these because I know if there is some fish in your peg, it sends them absolutely crazy on this venue. And then we've just got a couple of pints of corn, really heavy bait, so them fish, when they do come in your peg, are going to be on the bottom. They're not going to be ripping up the bottom. That's our baits and our rigs. But yeah, I've got 10 minutes till the all-in now, so I'll see you at the start of the match. That's the all-in. So, whilst we've been waiting for the all-in, a few fish have just appeared shallow. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pop out and see if I can just spend a bit of time to just try and see if I can mug any. Because I think it's going to be hard. We're best off just seeing if we can nick a few muggers to start off with. It's a big ghosty there. Got one. I'm trying not to annoy them too much. I think if you're frantic, rushing around your peg, just going at any old one, in the end they'll just all just vanish very quickly. Just trying to go for the closest ones to me, not to disturb them all. And when I do hook one, just try not to let them like rush out the peg. The seagull's just gone along, as you can see, and just spooked every single one in my peg. This one's behaving himself. Oh, into that. Try and net him. Water's ever so clear. Try not to rush him, because I know these muggers are going to be the biggest fish I catch all day, probably. Here he comes, and he's mine. Nice start. Probably 8 pound in. Since that seagull's been over, I can't see any more now. I'm just going to wait. Just give it a few minutes, see if they'll come back. Just going to spend a little bit of time starting the long pole, just slapping my rig, not feeding any. Because I know there's some fish in the area just cruising about. Just that little bit of noise. And sometimes attract them. Just if there's like one single pellet just there, they'll have a little go at it. Don't think any of the fish there are actually feeding. So if I start like loose feeding bait straight out there, I think they're just going to back off it. Just seeing a fish over to the left. just put its like dorsal fin out the water. So I've gone over, I couldn't see where its mouth was. I've just slapped it round by where he was and the float's gone under. Managed to nail him. With a nice fish. Probably £6. There's a lone fish then, that one, all on his own. Just swimming nice and slow. Just dropped it about 8 inches in front of him. He's nailed it. Didn't look that big in the water, but feels like a decent fish. Don't know why, but I've got a feeling it's a big F1. By the way it's fighting. Like swimming around in circles. Oh no, he's a carp. Smallest fish and he's fighting the hardest. Nice little comment. There he comes. Lovely. Just under £6. If I could keep going like this the whole match, I would. I wouldn't feed a single thing. Because I know the fish aren't actually feeding. They don't want bait, just by gauging by their reactions. But if you can just keep flicking it round your peg like this at the odd one. Ghosty just swooned into my peg. The thing with them ghosties, you might not get one of them ghosties, but there's normally a fish with them that you can't see, like that. That is absolutely mad. I know that's not the ghosty, but I flicked it at the ghosty. That is crazy. Oh, this one's pulling a bit. Oh God, it's not what I want. You don't want them going mad in your peg, because, especially when you're doing this, because you want the fish nice and settled, so they don't spook the rest of them. Keep him nice and low so it doesn't start kicking off on the surface. Only a small fish. £5. Tell you what, these fish don't half scrap. These smaller fish like these 5-pounders. So we are 2.5 hours in now. So halfway and I've got £75 just muggers. So I've spent 2.5 hours just taking my time, just mugging odd fish. But there's literally none about now. After that seagull went through quite early in the match and scared them off, they haven't really come back properly, just the odd one. But I've put a bit of bait down just down the right hand side here on the short line, not so much down the margin. Just put like a quarter of a pot of corn in, just a few pellets, the pellets just to start the peg off. I'm going to give that like 5 minutes before I have a look down there. Whilst I'm waiting for that bait to settle, I'm just going to look for a few more muggers. We've got 1 hour and 20 minutes left now. I've had a look down my edge, nothing. I'd look short, just to the right, nothing. Literally, the only thing I can catch on is mugging, and even they're pretty much scarce now. Them carp coming in my peg. I just watched a carp like come milling round by the edge where I'd fed. He weren't feeding, he just sat there. Maybe he's thinking about going down the edge and having a little feed, but I just chuck that mugging rig by him and he's nailed it. Nice common. wraps himself up in the rig. £7. Put some more bait down that edge. What I've done, I've come away from this pipe just because the flow of it just didn't look right. I've gone a couple of metres further down the edge. Don't think I'm going to catch any fish over any feed, but you've got to keep it going in because you don't want to get caught out. They've even been catapulting some 6mm pellets out just over to the right, where a lot of the muggers have been coming from, just to try and draw some into the feed, try and catch them shallow, but not had a bite doing it. It's just something for me to do, I suppose, whilst I'm waiting for the odd mugger to go into the peg. Might nick a fish off it. I think the fish have been in here that long, they're that wise. I think they're scared of bait, to be honest. So, in my pursuit to find some feeding fish, I've had to go long down the edge where I seen an F1 swirl earlier. Because the muggers are pretty much gone now. I thought it was an F1 I seen swirl. This is actually a carp. I don't know when to give up these fish. They're fighting considering we've only just come out of winter. Don't want to pull him too hard because I've had to wait like an hour for this fish. So I'll make it count. We might not get another one. Here he comes. The stamper fish has been absolutely superb today. Oh, he's got line wrapped all around his gills. Get that off for him. Calm down, trying to help you. I'll try and find where that line is. I don't know how, but it's gone in his mouth, through his gills, and then wrap back around. There we go. Just try and get back out and get another one. Just fishing corn down there. As I was shipping this out then, just a few bubbles come up down that edge, so something's down there. Just have another little go down here though. £95 with half an hour to go. Need one more really for the stamper fish we've been catching. Want one more carp for £100. I'll be over the moon with that. Pretty much doubled my target then. Look at that. Can't really ignore him. 20 minutes left now. I've just dropped back down the right hand edge because I've seen them bubbles coming up. Just wanted to have a look if whatever was down there's still there. I've not long topped that long line up down the left. So I can drop back on that. Still on the lookout for muggers. Be nice to get one last one. There you go. F1, I think. Oh no, car. This should put us on around the £100 mark. If we get him out. It's too late now, mate. I think Hughes come out of the nest. Yeah. He's probably getting towards £7, him. Another drop in there with some corn. When I hook that fish then a load of bubbles come up, so it must be really silty or loads of leaves on the bottom down there from over the winter. One. An F1, yeah. It's a nice one though, £3. Can't even get my hand around him. Proper one. Oh, rude not to have another go down there. Right, that's it. It's the all out. We'll get the weighing done and I'll catch up with you at the end.
Slow hour.
I've had a slow 2.5 hours, mate. Yeah. Not caught any feeding fish, I ain't. Mugged the lot of them apart from one carp and one F1.
33.9. Yesterday was black down.
Was it?
Honest to God, you wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't believe it.
Yeah, it looked black down the other end as well.
119.1.
Cheers, mate.
He's only 157.
I know, yeah. I couldn't have caught that, Grant.
No.
No. $119, what?
19. Well done, Rick.
Cheers, mate. We all weighed in. I had £119 and 1 ounce. That put me second on the lake behind Steve Porter, who had £150 of peg 4. So I'm absolutely buzzing. Been out twice now in 2 days, and we picked up envelopes on both matches. But as you can see, the scenery's changed totally, and I'm at Bowen Hill filming the next match. So stay tuned, and I'll see you on the next one.